delightful dinner, Katy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, if our fine feathered friends just show up.
Charlie, I don't think you ought to refer to our constituents as fine feathered friends.
Figure of speech.
It might be offensive to an Indian.
Very well. What time is their great silver bird expected to land?
Will you stop with that ethnic humor? The Sioux are a proud and dignified people.
Did you know that they once owned all of Minnesota? Their history is fascinating.
Wonder what they really want.
Oh, probably fishing rights, more seed corn, that sort of thing.
Do you think they'd come all the way to Washington just for that?
The Librarian of Congress said they might, just for the chance of bargaining.
Well, then I ought to be just the man to greet them.
How do you figure?
Well, I've been through 3 divorces, and if you don't think that takes bargaining...
We gotta remind you that you lost all 3 cases?
Right on time.
Good.
Now, Glenn, remember, the Sioux ritual calls for you to bid them formal welcome as head of the Hogan.
Darling, if you knew the size of the mortgage on this place, you would not call it a Hogan. Good evening. On behalf of my wife, my distinguished colleague, Senator Ames, and myself, I offer greetings and welcome to our Hogan. You do us honor by your presence.
Thank you. You're very kind. I'm Dr. John Whitehorse. This is Shirley Laughing Eyes and her father, and acting head of our nation, Frank Sundown.
This is a rare privilege indeed. Does the chief speak English?
Oh, I do, sir, after a fashion. My intemperate interjection alluded to the fact that it's colder than a Norwegian well-digger's ankle out here. I wonder, would you mind if we entered your Hogan?
January 27th.
Now that you've met our son, we will leave. As the ritual says, at the council fire, there's no place for women and children.
It says no place for foolish women. Please stay.
You're very kind, but I know you men have business to discuss.
Oh, I think I'll stay.
I think you'll go.
Oh, but Katy, you don't realize how tremendously interested I am in Indian lore.
Well, I'm sure Miss Laughing Eyes would be glad to give you some instructions. Shirley?
I'd love to.
And I can give some instruction on Swedish lore. It goes very good with a glass of milk.
Now then, let's shoot up an arrow and see where she lands.
I beg your pardon?
He means let's send up a smoke signal and see who answers.
Fine. Congressman Morley and I want to do whatever we can to help you with, whatever.
Great. We have copies of all this material to leave with you.
Couldn't you just give us an inkling?
Well, just off the top of my scalp, your guys fought a battle with our guys in 1837 somewhere in southeastern Minnesota.
The Sweetwater actually are allies with the Chippewa Indians.
Under the subsequent treaty, your guys took claim to a certain triangle of land.
Okay. I'm with you so far.
Now, the thing is, we never actually signed the treaty.
And you want a new treaty?
We want our land back. You see, we never actually surrendered.
We have a legitimate claim, and I think we can prove it.
With your help, preferably.
Well, here, let's put all these documents together and see just what we can come up with. Now, where exactly is this little triangle you're claiming?
Now, the treaty specifies where the 2 rivers meet.
The 2 rivers, uh-huh. And what 2 rivers are they?
The Mississippi and St. Croix.
And that's the little triangle?
Well, let me get this straight. What you're really claiming is...
Minneapolis and St. Paul.
I'm sorry to disturb you, but your father is getting ready to leave, Shirley.
Oh, gee, they just got here.
Well, they're going to be in Washington for a while. You'll get a chance to see Shirley again.
Well, I sure hope so, because there's an awful lot I'd like to learn about her people.
Well, now, you know, this kind of thing is bound to take some time.
We've already waited well over 100 years. By our calendar, about 1,500 moons. You can't honestly expect us to wait any longer.
I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to wait at least another moon.
We must be going now.
Well, good night.
Good night. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.
I'm afraid we'll have to hear from you by tomorrow or take some independent action.
Where can you be reached?
We're staying at the Mayflower.
You should pardon the expression.
How did it go?
Your wife always give you straight lines?
Why, is something the matter?
You might say that, yes.
Well, that's too bad. Stephen got along very well with Laughing Eyes.
Good night.
Good night, Steve.
Are you going to be able to help them?
Well, I don't know if I can or even if I want to.
Why?
Well, because, among other things, I have a terrific conflict of interests.
What's that, buddy?
It suddenly occurs to me that should they win their case, I will be out of a job.
You mean your district is...
Their district.
Will someone please tell me what's going on?
Certainly. But first, I'll need a large, tall glass of firewater. Okay. Well, sir, what do you think? Fantastic.
Nothing to worry about?
Not if you happen to be a Sioux. These documents are completely authentic as far as I can see. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Hine.
Not at all.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
We were just checking some things out.
So are we.
Turns out you're okay with Indian affairs.
I should certainly hope so.
And Senator Ames says I give straight lines.
Here we are.
Well, I'm amazed you can put your finger on it so easily.
Well, we just had occasion to check it out.
They must have been here already. Any signatures?
The Treaty of Sweetwater was signed by the Chippewa.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
And, of course, the United States.
That's all?
That is all.
No Sioux?
No, sir. No Sioux.
It shows your congressman is working for you.
Yeah, we're checking up.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Nelson.
Hello, Congressman. Mrs. Morley. Can I help you?
Well, we're here on the same business as those other gentlemen.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you what I told them. If they're willing to sweat out the calendar and wait for a shot in court, our department thinks that their claim has a pretty good chance of standing up.
Oh.
However, I advise a settlement.
How did they respond to that?
They didn't take too kindly to the suggestion.
What did they say?
They call me a sneaky paleface.
You really think that having Katy take them to lunch is going to solve anything?
No.
Well, do you really think that just because she gives them a guided tour of Washington, they're going to come around?
No.
Well, you think they're going to be so overwhelmed by a little smile from her that they're going to abandon the whole project?
No.
Well, then, for heaven's sake, why did you tell her to take them out?
Because you suggested it.
How'd it go? How'd it go?
Katy, how was it?
Hi. Well, I showed them around Washington.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun being an Indian guide.
It's a switch, anyway.
Well, did you get anywhere with them?
No. They still want the land, and they'll do anything and everything to get it.
Nothing will change their minds?
They wouldn't dare change. They're too afraid of Red Cloud.
Great.
Seems to me there is one solution.
Surrender?
Talk to Red Cloud. Make him change his mind.
Katy, do you think we can?
Of course. He's an old man and probably a very wise one. I'm sure he'll listen to reason.
You know, it might work at that.
I think you should ask him here to Washington as our guest.
I'd be glad to split expenses.
Thanks for your concern.
Not at all. I can write it off to insurance.
How come?
Well, it just so happens I own an apartment house in St. Paul.
Where is it?
Dad? Katy?
What is it,
Hi,
Steve?
Stephen.
There's someone here to see you.
Who?
I don't know. He wouldn't say.
Strange.
He's waiting in the living room.
Thanks, Steve.
I am Red Cloud.
Glenn Morley.
You have the look of your grandfather. He was my friend.
His grandson welcomes Red Cloud as a friend also.
You speak well. The woman?
My wife, Katy.
I'm pleased to meet a man face to face who rode with Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull.
She speaks very well. But enough. The way was long, and I am tired.
Would you care to rest now? We have prepared a place for you in our house. Or the Hogan.
Thank you. I would prefer the house.
Let me show you your room.
Later, Red Cloud, we will talk.
About what?
I'd like to talk about your claim.
What claim is that?
Your claim to Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Oh. Well, since the land is ours, what is there to talk about?
Well, for one thing, there are those who might disagree.
In that case,
Yes?
I guess we will have to resume the war.
Let me help. Not about the war. I intend to remain neutral about that.
Thanks a lot.
And who is talking about land?
Grandfather, it's very difficult to... Well, I don't understand. Really, I don't.
We thought you'd be pleased.
Why? I sent you to hunt buffalo, and you go after rabbits and prairie dogs.
But the Attorney General's office agreed to let us bring suit against the government.
What will that win us?
The land that they took.
The land. I want what we had before the land. What we lost. That is more precious than land.
I'm sorry, Grandfather. I'm afraid you've lost me. I don't know what you're getting at.
You were born a Sioux, raised a Sioux, and you do not know?
No, sir.
Then go. You displease me.
Red Cloud, we did our best.
In my time, for doing so well, you would have been staked out in the sun for the ants. Now go.
And, this is our special tree. It's almost 100 years old.
Oh, yes. Very nice. A very lovely place.
Thanks. I mean, it's just a patio. It's probably not like you have where you live. Lots of fresh air and exercise.
Well, exercise anyway.
You have lots of mountains and things?
I have a lot of steps. We live in a duplex. How are you doing out here? Fine, thanks. Hungry? Thirsty? Nothing, thank you. How are you doing in there? Not too well, I'm afraid. It looks as if your great-grandfather is a very stubborn man. I could have told you that. Is there anything else you could have told me? Mm-hmm. I'm listening. As they say in school, don't try to add oranges and apples.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? It means great-grandfather doesn't necessarily want what you think he wants.
This paper can't seem to decide whether we're heroes or bums.
All they had to do was put in a call to Minnesota, anywhere in Minnesota. I did.
I take it we're not heroes.
We have a long way to go just to be bummed. Glenn, we have got to do something.
Looks like we'll have to leave it up to the lawyers to do it for us.
But we can't let it go to court. The papers would have a field day. Can you imagine how we'd look?
Yeah, like a couple of unsuccessful candidates for re-election.
See, you described it perfectly.
It's a Swedish drink called glögg.
That is funny. It looks like a peace feeler to me.
Red Cloud is a very wise chief,
And very old for flattery.
but not too old for glögg.
Ah,
Like it?
it is so good, I'm surprised it is not outlawed for Indians.
I'm sorry. I know things have not always been fair.
Thank you. A friend is always welcome.
I'm interested to know why one particular injustice hurts more than others.
Our lances were unbroken at the Sweetwater in '37. We did not go down to defeat. That is why the Sioux never signed the treaty.
The history that I read said...
I know. They say the Sioux were beaten, that we ran like dogs. Can a chief go to his ancestors with such shame on his head?
That is what you want? To set the record straight?
That is all I want. Once such matters were quickly settled in honest combat, or the chiefs would come together. I was wrong to be so angry at sundown in Whitehorse. Today, the fight must be waged in court.
Red Cloud, it will take a long, long time.
Then I shall not live to see its ending, and I shall take disgrace with me to my ancestors.
Now, you say he does not want to,
Yeah.
but he's going to go through with it anyway?
Or Red Cloud feels he must go to court to set the record straight, to redeem the honor of his tribe.
But?
But that's no solution. It will be too late for Red Cloud.
And not too great for Minnesota.
Yeah. There must be some other way.
I wish I knew what it was. I've racked my brain, heaven knows. I don't understand who he has to talk to in order that
That's
the
it.
man...
That's the solution.
What are you talking about?
Glenn, do you believe two people can sit down together and work out their problems?
Well, sure I do, depending on who the people are.
Exactly.
I know you can do it, Charlie.
But, Glenn, it's not that easy.
I know it isn't easy, but don't you think that two people can sit down and work out their problems?
Well, it depends on who the two people are.
These two people can do it, Charlie.
Suppose you're right.
Now, there, you see, that wasn't so hard?
No, it's the next part that's hard. Yes, sir, I certainly do know that it isn't easy. And I wouldn't be asking if I didn't sincerely believe, after careful consultation with my advisors, that when two people sit down together, they can work out their problems. But at least you'll ask. Thank you, Hubert.
Between us, there is no need for a writing. If you say it, all men know it will be done. The record will speak truth again. I shall end my days in pride. I am only sorry that I cannot grant you the small favor you ask to match your great gift to me. But at this time, I cannot visit the ranch. And now, goodbye.
As in the old time, the better days?
Yes, as in the old time. But from the new, we find a way to celebrate. Would you be good enough to bring me a cup of glögg?
I would be delighted.
Thank you.
Glenn,
Yes?
do you think he he would like some?
Glück? Well, I don't know.
There's no harm in asking.
Hi, I'm Bruce Mahler, and that was Buster, my partner in comedy. You know...
I now give you name, a Sioux name, a gift of the people who will be eternally grateful to you. I name you Wakanita, the lovely one, Princess of the Sioux. Wakanita.
Wakanita.
Wakanita!
Congratulations, lovely one.
Well, I must say, they gave you the right name.
Thank you.
And to you, Senator Ames, and to you, Congressman Morley, we are sending certificates of merit. They will be mailed to you from the reservation. That's nice.
I can't tell you how glad I am that things worked out as they did.
You don't have to tell me. It was indeed a good visit.
Please come back and see us again soon.
Perhaps I shall. In the meantime, I suggest you look at the record.
What record is that?
The one that shows title to Lake Michigan.
No, please, not again.
I think the chief is making a little joke.
Oh?
Well, you would not do such a thing again. At least not to, family.
This afternoon at 3 Eastern, a provocative look at the issues changing our lives on the 700 Club. Then at 4, afternoon game show fun gets underway with Face the Music. Now stay with us for the Patty Duke Show next on CBN.